Welcome to the Adam Rothstein Hockey Podcast. This is your podcast for all things hockey. On this podcast, we talk about past history to the modern day and what you can do to grow the sport. I am your host, Adam Rothstein. All right, let's get to the show. Welcome in, everybody. This is episode number 85, and the Vegas Golden Knights are Stanley Cup champions for the first time. I do not know where to begin with this exactly. Jonathan Marchessault was the Conn Smythe winner. I did not exactly have that as my pick. He is the first undrafted player to win it since Wayne Gretzky, so there's that. Also, you've got just readjust my camera here. You've got just arguably one of the best, one of the most interesting games. There were 9 goals scored by the Golden Knights and 3 by the Panthers, and 2 of them by the Panthers. It was too little too late for them. And the captain, Matt Stone, got the first hat trick since 1922. 1922. Not 2022, 1922. Oh man. So I mean, there were a lot of things that happened. They were the quickest expansion team in the NHL to win the Cup, and the Flyers didn't have, are now the second fastest to do it, technically speaking. So there's that as well. Phil Kessel got his 3rd ring along with Jonathan Quick. Neither of them played in this series, and I think the biggest shame of all of this is that Phil Kessel didn't even get any playing time, and that's just a shame, honestly. I mean, like, I wanted to see him play. I mean, he's in his mid-30s. He can still do it. He just put him on the 4th line, and it would have all been well, and I think it still would have been easier for me to digest this, just me rooting for the Panthers. So, Panthers fans, I am sorry to tell you that this one was, it just wasn't happening. And I think, Paul Maurice was right to just say, chill out for the moment. But apparently, but the Vegas Golden Knights had them figured out from everything, from the defense to their PK to their power play. They knew everything. Okay, they just knew too much about them. And Matthew Tkachuk was not in this for Game 5, which was like, do or die game, and he was out with an undisclosed injury. It just does, for the Panthers fans, congratulations, you got a win. You got your first Stanley Cup win. Not necessarily, you won the cup, but you won a series win. And you have a total of 1 game, and from the 9 games you played in a Stanley Cup final, you've got 1. So next time, next time, just all you need is 3 more, and you win a cup too. So there's that. Matthew Tkachuk, man, he needed to be in this one, and maybe it would have been so much different. And I'm thinking, as the game started, okay, they're doing okay. And then there was a shorthanded goal by Mark Stone, not Matt Stone, Mark Stone. I don't know why I said said Matt, I chuckers on the brain. Mark Stone got a shorthanded, unassisted goal with about 8 or so minutes in, and when you're on the power play and you give it up in a do or die game, it's not a good indication that things are going to go your way. Nicholas Haig, from the assist from Eichel and assist from Eichel and Marshall got on the board. His second goal of the playoffs. Aaron Ekblad then decided to just keep this. I'm going to score and see what I can do to get this in range. And for a little while, it was 2-1 until Mr. Martinez, Alec Martinez, decided. And we're in the second period now. So the Golden Knights went into the second period 2-0. Ekblad got a goal within the first 2 minutes. And then Martinez came in at about halfway through the period, and he scored. Riley Smith would come in and score at about 1:49. Then Mark Stone would score again, his second goal, and 17 minutes had elapsed in the period. And then we can't finish the period without one more goal. Michael Amadio gets his 5th goal of the playoffs, and we are at wow, I actually miscounted here. 1-2, 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, 5-1, 6-1 going into the third period. It's 6-1. So yeah. So Babashev, we start off the third period. It's still 6-1 for most of the way, for nearly the first half. Then 8 minutes into this, Babashev decides to score from Eichel. Eichel gets his 20th assist of these playoffs, which is insane to think about, on the Babashev goal. And then Theodore gets his 11th assist in these playoffs. And then, even though it was too little too late, Mr. Samuel Reinhart, maybe it's Samson Reinhart, but I'll just go with Samuel Reinhart. Sam Reinhart gets his 8th goal of the playoffs. It is now 7-2. And then Sam Bennett decides to score on Adin Hill and for his 5th goal of the playoffs, and it is 7-3. And I'm thinking, okay, it's fine. Bobrovsky's pulled. And then Mark Stone takes a couple of shots at the empty netter. He's about 190 feet away from the top of his defensive faceoff circle. And on the third try, he gets it. So I suppose third time is the charm. Nicholas Waugh scores on Bobrovsky. No empty netter there. So there's that. Oh man, what a coverage, man. Vegas. It was quite a lot actually to see that. And it's like 12 goals were scored last night. 12. So if you did 10 push-ups per goal, congratulations, you got a workout of 120 push-ups as well. This was one of the biggest things that I found surprising of the night was not just the goals scored and the pounding that Florida took. It was like Gary Bettman wasn't even booed last night. He wasn't even booed. They liked him. They were cheering. They were doing all that stuff. Either the focus was not on him or they just forgot how much they hated him or something. But I think when you give the when you're undrafted player who is an original Golden Knight wins the Conn Smythe, you tend to forget about that stuff. Um, I think, most of us had the Golden Knights being that Cinderella story and just overcoming so many hurdles, and they defeated the Boston Bruins, and then you think this this team can win the Stanley Cup. I didn't see this happening at all. I think, maybe they were just maybe the Panthers, went, I do think they went in there overconfident, certainly for game one. And maybe that was it. And you could argue, the refs could have made certain calls and it could have went this way and such. And Bobrovsky could have made a save on some things as well. Speaking of Bobrovsky last night, there were some certain plays that I thought were a little questionable. There were some certain goals at first, and then we reconfirmed it, and then it was goals, because it's like, oh my god, like when you're at the seventh or eighth goal for Vegas, and it's like, oh my god, how would you, like, what is this? Why are you scoring this? Can like, is this questionable sort of thing? And it's like, oh, geez, like, enough already, sort of thing. If you're a Panthers fan, for those of you that are watching this on either YouTube or on Spotify, I'm wearing a Checkers hat. Just wanted to mention that Vegas, now Vegas being the team, one of the few expansion teams to do it in 6 years. I mean, you had the Marlins in the MLB and the Diamondbacks in the MLB to get it in 4 and 3 years respectively. I do think this is good for the NHL. It's Vegas's first Big Four championship. So we don't count the WNBA as part of the Big Four, but they get their Big Four championship as well. There were a lot of, obviously people in jerseys and doing all that stuff, and Raiders jerseys and Golden Knights jerseys respectively in the stands at the T-Mobile at T-Mobile. Jeez, should have went with Verizon. At least you could, the Panthers could hear themselves or something. Bad joke. This was, for the Panthers fans, I know it's tough to watch, and the NBA finals somehow mirrored the NHL finals, or the NHL finals just mirrored the NBA finals, or vice versa, because both the South Florida teams lost 5-1, and the stars of the games didn't come from either Miami or the Panthers from Sunrise. It came from Denver. It came from Vegas. It came from the other teams, and I think when you have both your NHL and your NBA team in both of them, you think, okay, one of them is going to win a championship, and then it's like, no, and it didn't happen. I mean, remember, Florida fans, you got past Boston with, in the Boston against, not just in the NHL but the NBA, and you beat them in the same building. For those, for your two teams in South Florida, and that was like, unheard of as well. I wanted to see Phil Kessel. I wanted to at least see if they would win one, and that just didn't happen too. But this is, maybe it's things are just better out west. Who knows? And it can be like that sometimes, but I don't think it's anything to beat yourself up over. I mean, yes, maybe it's going to be tough to get into the office for a few days as well. For the Vegas Golden Knights fans, once again, congratulations. You guys have, they did it. Quick is a three-time cup winner. Kessel is a three-time cup winner. It's not like back in their glory days in the 2010s when they were just dominating and they just kicked ass too. Congratulations to Phil Kessel for being the first man to you know eat glizzies and in the press box to win a Stanley Cup final. Congratulations, Phil, as well. And shout out to Coach Chippy for making those funny videos on Phil Kessel as well. You know, this has been an excellent hockey season. I think if you're a content creator who started the season, you were blessed. Alex Ovechkin got 40 goals. Kessel broke the Iron Man streak, even though eventually that was taken away. Thank you for coming on to the Golden Knights as well. That's weird. That's weird. Weird dentist appointment thing that I had to schedule. My bad. Phone going through. Yeah. So there is that. What else is there to even talk? Oh, Sidney Crosby got 1,500 points. There's that. Steven Stamkos, 500 assists. Or he got to 1,000 points. Congratulations to Steven Stamkos. As well. I'm not even sure if I remember just to share my stream for NHL.com. I'm just actually happy to talk to you all today as well. Yeah. So also another note for this wonderful 2022-2023 season. It was the first time in like 16 years that the Penguins didn't make the playoffs or something. Something really, really a little ridiculous too. The Anaheim Ducks lost out to the Chicago Blackhawks on getting Connor Bedard. And then people were making memes about that sort of thing. So, and you want to know something else? The Ducks could have had Crosby. They could have had Bedard, and it's just, oh, geez. So that was something that didn't exactly die off. The Maple Leafs got to the second round, so clap everyone for the Maple Leafs on that. Great job. The Oilers were probably one of the key teams that really could have made a difference on this. They just had the Oilers beaten the Golden Knights. I don't know if they're in the finals necessarily because they still struggled with Vegas and they were going to struggle coming out of that series, and maybe the Stars just find them to be an easier opponent, and then they are in this, and we have another Texas South Florida series. This was the southernmost NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. And I say that even though we had the Lightning and the Stars in 2020, on a technicality basis, in regards to when they were traveling at the time, this is the southernmost series so far. On just on a technicality level, not necessarily where they're from, just where they were traveling, because remember we had the Corona season as well. So on the future, do I see the Panthers getting back to the Stanley Cup and winning in the next 5 years? Yeah, I do. I don't think that's an unreasonable prediction at this time, as well. This was just it was not the it's still not an easy thing to swallow if you're a Panthers fan as well. And I think when you just it looked like they were not there for game 5. It's like they must have thought they were there for a golf trip or something, because they were just not there. They like it's almost as if they gave up. And I think when you pull Bobrovsky, when the other team has like you know it was up like 7-3 at that point, and then Mark Stone, not Matt Stone, but Mark Stone, um, gets an empty netter and seals that hat trick for the first time. Um, yeah, I think that is just arguably, it was more than a dagger to the heart, if I mean that. Uh Mark Stone, man, what a captain. Eichel, his first time being in the postseason, because he was on the Sabres for so long. Uh, he's able to cruise to his first Stanley Cup. And in the era of 32, it's a tough thing to do. So congratulations to him. Um, Babashev played nice, wonderful, good work. All right. This has been another episode of the Adam Rothstein Hockey Podcast. Apologies for making some mistakes at the beginning. And with that being said, take care.